Hello, everybody. I hope you all are having a beautiful day. Just give me a second. Um, Whenever I go live like this, if anybody's ever having trouble actually catching the video, what I do is I share it to my Facebook, and what I do is I share it to my community page. And so, what a person could do is they can go to my community tab and they'll see it right there, and they could just click on the video for future reference. But I just want to come out and speak on some of the comedy that I've been witnessing lately, and just different topics and things like that. And so I figured I'd come and talk to some people. I see MAGA Trump supporters are getting extremely desperate right now because they're going to CNN and different news sources like MSNBC talking about third party and how they're a threat. And the reason I think that's funny is because what they're doing is they're trying to split up the blue vote, and that's why they're trying to get all these African Americans to seem like they're for Trump. Because then what they end up doing is they're like they see Cornel West in the ballot box, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna, and it splits up the popular vote. And so it's just funny and interesting watching some of these tactics that some of these people come up with. But outside of that in politics, because a lot of people what they'll do is they'll go extremely hardcore and be like, I'm not voting for anybody, I'm not going to get involved. But the thing about when you do that, when you act like that, then a lot of wild people run rampant in politics, and it makes life worse. And so I know a lot of people don't necessarily agree with certain things and the way things are structured at the moment. But if you don't play the game, I don't even want to say play the game, because at this point, if you don't get involved and see who's creating and making these laws, you see how many court justices. What Trump did was unprecedented. He took three empty seats and appointed three judges that were all right-leaning Republican, and so that has a lot of consequences in everyday life and and within the law and legal system. But sometimes people have to find out before they understand. Even the thing about Trump, and I've said this before, when people, when these Republicans take office, what they end up doing is, like especially Trump, what Trump ends up doing is he tries to initiate all these business deals. Well, what ends up happening is when these contractors go the other way or find another country to contract through, what it does is it hurts Americans. When you guys see tariffs and stuff, that doesn't tax another country. Hello, Noto. I hope you're having a good day. When they put tariffs on these other countries, what it does is it increases the taxes and it creates problems for American citizens, because what ends up happening is they have to go get contracted through another source. And the thing is about Republicans is, hello, Muhammad, good to see you. The thing is about Republicans is when they take office and when they do this, what they end up doing is they are able to use the president to create a lot of business deals that lean into their favor. When they do that, they starve and choke the rest of the world and create a lot of problems, which creates a lot of these groups that ends up not liking America. You see, what they'll do is they say, Trump even admits to these trade deals that he does, and when he goes through with these trade deals, what ends up happening is um, a lot of these contractors get pissed off from other countries, so then they outsource to somebody else. When they do this, America ends up being in a whole bunch of hot shit, and Trump just gets on the news. Oh, I created a trade deal. I did this and that. No, he just fucked off a lot of people from another country, and then when these corporations can run rampant and do whatever they want, because what happens is the corporation isn't doing anything. You're looking at individuals who own a lot of property, and what they do is they get happy when Trump's like, oh, I'm going to decrease taxes and blah, blah, blah. But what he ends up doing is he starves the rest of the country when he does that. Because these rich people, what they're doing is they are pillars in society. Without their taxes, without their money, then all these other people who they even got these products from end up being hurt. Oh, hello. I think that's Spanish. Bien, u bien. That's good. I'm glad you're good. Hello, BZT75. Hello, everybody. I hope y'all. Hello, Kenzie, Bo Dragon. I did not see what that said. Do I want to know what it feels like to what? Oh, you talking about the video title, The Messiah? No. This I'm trying to get information to people. There was actually a man that was crucified, and his name in English would be John. His name was, I believe it was Giannis in Greek or something like that. But I just give information to who. Hello, DHP Mauer. So yeah, back to the current subject at hand. What these Republicans end up doing is they create an institution to where they create all these business deals with the cheapest vendors and the cheapest people when they outsource. When they end up doing this, we're getting a lot of cheap and bad product and stuff like that. I'm gonna give you an example. Like if I'm a rich Republican and I own a business, now I just said screw all these contractors who are doing a bunch to make sure the products are okay, and I'm going with this person who's a lot less expensive. When I go with this person who's a lot less expensive, you're getting the cheapest product possible. I'll give you an example. Look at all these products made over here. It always says made in China, made in Taiwan, made here, made in Russia, made in all these different places. See, what they're doing is they're saying immigrant bad, but they're sending all of their corporations and companies to the immigrants and their nations. And then what they do is they want these Republican presidents who are okay with starting wars, who are okay with starving and choking the rest of the world, to then create an infrastructure to where Americans are only coming up, but then we're not coming up. Only the corporate owners and only these rich people are in these. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, I'll give you an example. These media outlets get all these everyday people to say, um, public aid is bad, right? Bad, bad public aid. Then when COVID hits, and then when these tsunamis hit, and we need all this public aid, what is everybody saying? Oh, they don't care about us. They don't want to help us. It's like a wave, and that's what I'm trying to say. That it's good for a person to search themselves and understand why it's good to help others and care about others. Because when we hate each other, we can't come together and grow. I see a lot of people talking about the oppression that's happened to people of color in America, African Americans as they call us. And I appreciate that because what they're doing is they're acknowledging something and then they can help us build back up. Because if you guys really want to know the truth, African Americans have been a pillar for a long time, but they show us only doing crime. And that's another thing I tell y'all. Trump, man, what they're doing is they like Trump in the media because when Trump is in the media, they can make a whole bunch of fiery news, all these news stories and this television and blah, 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 blah. Then, once it spreads throughout the land, they get their billions from their viewers and these cable companies and whatnot. But then all these people throughout the world don't seem to have any real common sense that seem to follow Trump. Because I keep telling you all, in the institution of America, it would take more time and energy to go catch cats and dogs to go buy some cheap meat. You can buy meat from the Dollar Tree now. I don't understand why people even say that type of racist stuff. You know what I mean? Because what it ends up doing is that it makes people go right back to attacking Asians. Because you all know good and well that throughout time there was a racist stereotype about Asian restaurants. Now all of a sudden he's using the cats and dogs trick on the Haitians. So this is what I'm trying to get people to understand, man, that, you know what I mean, a lot of what we're seeing in the media is tricks. Because what I try to tell people, you guys really might not know this in the Western world, but there are a lots of Nazis in Ukraine. These Nazis have been blowing up and tearing stuff up and killing Russian citizens. You guys can go to Google and type this stuff out. Are Nazis attacking Russians in Ukraine? I'm telling you, this stuff is. They're not going to show this on the news because then it mess up their Western agenda. And what the Western world does a lot of times is they try to use other races of people as footstools while then making themselves. Even, I bring this up before, if the original law was to have no gods before me or whatever the law is in the Ten Commandments, and then now there's a blonde-haired, blue-eyed God named Jesus Christ. Well, then when people look at their God and love their God, they're then going to have an affection for Caucasian people. I'm not trying to be racist and say, hey, white people. I'm just simply telling you all, by creating a Jesus Christ, blonde-haired, blue-eyed God, you now can see the institution where they're meaner to darker skinned people, African people, Arabic people, people from other countries. And this is how that manifests into supremacy. They see a God that looks like this, so then they perpetuate loving that type of people. And so, you know what I'm saying? This is what I'm trying to teach y'all. You know what I mean? The Messiah is the best way I can describe this right now is you have who you are or who I am, one of the two, who you are. Right? So then if you're talking just like me, I'm going to say something and you follow along. You would say, I am who I am. I am the one. Put no gods before who I am. So you say the same thing. And then you start to see how the Ten Commandments manifest when you get the real law. If you guys even pay attention in that story in the Torah, really what ends up happening is you have Moses who left, and then you have another man, Aaron, right? After Aaron, they go into the wilderness and do all this stuff, building gods and calves and all this other stuff. Well, then they get the Ten Commandments. That stone was stricken, right? They broke that stone into pieces, Moses did. So then in that book, Aaron goes into the wilderness and strikes another stone again. Well, then he strikes the stone twice because first you have Elijah and the prophets, then you have John or Yanez and the apostles. Hello, good edits. Good to see you. And so I'm just here trying to answer people questions if they got them about the Bible, about religion, about a lot of different stuff. If you guys got questions or want to know, oh, I'm just teaching different people about things in history and in nature and in what's real, I guess. And, you know what I mean? I like to teach people that I am who I am and I am the anointed one. And so are you. We all are. I'm the King of Kings. You're the King of Kings. You're the Queen of Queens. I'm basically here teaching people how to leave the wilderness. And so I think it's a real coincidence that the man who was crucified name was Yanez and my name is Juannie. I was like, holy shit, we have the same name. And then, just a lot of stuff I've learned and found out, but I'm just basically trying to teach people to the best of my ability and try to pull them out the fire or the. I've been on YouTube for about 7 years, about to be 8 years coming up. But I just really for the last 2, 3 years been really talking about like making personal videos, like talking about the word and spirit and talking about different things like that. Just trying to teach people. Because what I try to teach people when dealing with religion, I don't know if any of you are Christian or Muslim or Jewish. What I teach people ultimately is really like the Ten Commandments, but even outside of the Ten Commandments, you have who you are. And I try to teach them about the name and the phrase. I am who I am. You know what I mean? I am the living one. I am peace and mercy. I am gracious. I am forgiveness. I am love. Love who I am with all your heart and soul, and love others the same. And I just try to keep teaching people that. And then you got the other commandments: thou shalt not kill or rape, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not covet for thy neighbor house. That just means want what everybody else got. Um, you know, thou shalt not bear false witness, lie on others. Yeah, so even when I see God is real, I just think I am real. If an atheist argue with you, tell them they can't say God isn't real without saying his real name. They would have to say I am not real. Boom. And so if that atheist doesn't believe that they're real, then the argument's over with. If you're not real, then what am I arguing with you for? You know what I mean? So it's a little something I like to teach people. Even when you read the Bible or whatever books y'all are gonna read, if you replace the Lord and God with I am when you read, like when you see God, just say that which I am or who I am. Same with Jesus, because it's supposed to be I am gracious salvation, but Jesus means I am a gracious pig. And so, because sus is Latin for pig, and G, or yea, what they got from Jehovah, that's Yehohanan. That was the man that was crucified. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And so that's why I try to teach people. Even if you think about atheism, that's a counterproductive word. It's a theist. So you're basically saying you're a theist. The English language has been rendered abjad, as my friend Dan Saber likes to say sometimes, and they have kind of created Almost a scenario if anybody watches Rick and Morty when Rick goes down to meet his civilization that he created inside of his engine. This is just a cartoon. I'm just using it as a metaphor. It seems like a lot of this language is actually harmful and people don't realize it because they're not studying where a lot of the stuff came from. They're not searching to find. And so you know, I'll even give you an example. The word Yanez or Yehohanan or Jehovah, whatever, that just means I am gracious. Um, when you hear Yeshua, that's the yeah in front, but instead of sus for pig, it's Shua for salvation. So what they're saying in metaphysics really is I am gracious salvation when they say Yeshua. That's where they got the names Jehovah and Yahweh from anyway. Yahweh is JB in English, Y used to be J, and the B used to be high V in German, but they switched it all up. And so now, so that's why I'm just trying to teach people, you know what I mean? Some people do say, this one guy in the chat said, so you're John the Baptist? And I said, no, my name is Juan. And when he heard that, he was like, oh, I resurrected you. And I was like, I thought that was pretty funny when he said that. But no, yeah, my name is Juan. I thought that, and I'm a junior, the son. That's super funny. But what I try to teach people is it's the word and spirit. So the words that you use, if you're not careful, can be like spelling, and they can put spells on oneself until you're basically, I don't want to say the word pagan like calling names, but until basically you're worshiping gods and questioning yourself over and over and condemning yourself. And a person can lose themselves in the wilderness if they're not careful. So I'm trying to draw people out the rivers, but I'm not just here to draw people out the rivers. I would like to think of it like I have the staff or the sword, and I'm basically fighting the old concepts to help people breathe again, the breath of life. If you look at the word hell comes from Germanic paganism, from the Anglo-Saxons. So does the word God. Gudam from Norse paganism. That's where the word good comes from. Gud, Guthis. And that's just when the Roman missionaries, after conquering the Greeks and the Canaanites, what they did was they went up north to the Anglo-Saxons and started taking over barbarians. That is initially where the word Slavic came from. They had enslaved a lot of these people at first, the British and the Irish, and then the Vikings took back control, the Anglo-Saxons, and then when they did that, they created their own nations, and then you have the emergence of the English or Anglish, and then French, Anglo-Saxons, Frisians, and then Jutes. Interesting, if you take the cross out of Jutes, what do you get? But in all seriousness, Jews is a metaphor. There's a tree called a yew tree. It's a tree that grows in northern European. It's a tree that grows in European areas, and it's an evergreen tree. It's a coniferous tree. It can survive all year round, and that's just where Jew tree or yew tree. That's where Jew comes from my perspective. It's just like the fire that doesn't consume, the tree that doesn't get engulfed by the fire, so to speak. And that's just symbolic of talking about European peoples. There's Jews everywhere. It's the people who live by the circumcision of the heart. What they basically do is live by the covenant of not causing harm. Because the awe of the law is love who I am with all your heart and soul and love your neighbor the same. All these different religions don't matter to me. They're vain to me. These holidays and religious. I mean, I like Christmas just because of the lights and the gifts and stuff, but that doesn't mean I worship Christmas trees and demand gifts. It's a festive time of year, and it's a nice little nostalgic thing dealing with lights. You know what I mean? And so that's why I try to teach people it's good not to disrespect people's cultures. But at the same time, what does that book even say? Don't eat food sacrificed to idols. So that's going to mean what it means to you, because technically when I talk to you all, I'm an angel of who I am to you all, because you all are the gods of your own world. You're the kings and queens of your own worlds. I am just simply baptizing you with new words. Now, who I am is like the fire, so to speak, because I'm not here to do all that. I'm here to hold hands, so to speak, spiritually speaking, but I'm not here to like play with people. I'm here to edify and tell the truth, you know what I mean, in history. Because there's a subtle lineage of the angel of fire. When I say lineage, I'm not talking about like by blood. I'm talking about through word and spirit. First the fires rolled down in the stone to Moses, but then the people were striking stones and striking rocks. Think of it this way. If it was two tablets, look at the wilderness. They struck the stone twice. It's a representation of Aaron taking Moses' law. I will make you like a god to them. Then through word and spirit, Aaron went and fulfilled a bunch of stuff with Moses' name. And then when they were in the wilderness, struck both the prophet and the apostle, so to speak, the word and spirit, because Elijah was like the fires, and then Yanez and the apostles were like the water, if that makes sense. So the two spirits or the two witnesses. And so I'm just trying to teach people, you know what I mean, and give them the light and give them the day. Perfect love casts out fear, for fear causes torment, and fear is punishment. We do not fear the day of judgment because we live like the Lamb here in the world. Who I am. What's the Lamb? The beginning rock that was destroyed. The Word and Spirit since the foundation of the world. What does the tree of life do? It gives you your breath of life back. So then instead of saying, oh, Lord God, woo, 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 oh, I shall read David and Solomon for the Lord God, now you're the king and queen, and those are teachers giving you food for your temple or guidance in life. You don't have to read that whole book. Really, the only law is the Ten Commandments. But whatever you guys do read, what I'm saying is read it from first person view. So when I read that book and I see the Lord or God or Jesus, I see who I am. I don't even mess with that crucifixion anymore, because what it's doing is getting people to crucify themselves and put another man in their heaven, so to speak. And that's basically the firestorm. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Yanez was like Elijah, and I am like Elisha, so to speak. The cloak I was given made me go, what the hell? So then the Old Testament and the New Testament, like oxen in the field, I slaughtered, if that makes sense. Not real people, this is a metaphor. And then once I had the cloak and the staff, I then tried to talk to Israel and the people, so to speak. It's the word and spirit. Um, what a lot of people have done, and sages and holy men and all types of religious people, is they have got people to believe in these religious texts, and they've created all these books to destroy people, so to speak, and their temples. And so we're the walking temples. Who I am doesn't dwell in temples made with hands in these buildings and bricks, but in a sense, in a grandchild sort of way, it does, because who I am is spirit, but then who I am, the flesh, needs shelter and stuff like that. And so, anything can be debunked, but anything can be true. Truth is objective to the person believing it and subjective to others if they don't wish to intake that type of truth. Even Daniel said, don't bow to the king and ingest the pulp and the water of the word. That's just basically saying ingest what you need to survive and build up again. But forsake not the stone. Don't be attacking people. Don't be rude. Don't act like you're the Lord God over everybody or goddess over everybody. Simply remember that we all are, and we come together to make a garden. And I like to teach people also that the spirit that hovered above the waters is the Ark of the Covenant. It's the first three commandments. When said right, all that Lord God and God and Allah and Hashem and Jesus, those are names of gods. In English, it's I am, that which I am, and who I am. So I'm just trying to teach y'all to the best of my ability, so that way people can be freed from Babylon and Egypt. Egypt only means house of bondage, and Babylon only means Babel. That's basically... So the houses of bondage that babble and buffoonery. Nothing more, nothing less. I mean, it can be as much as you want it to be. It's your spirit. It's your life. When I sit here, I can think, imagine, be who I will, but I remember that I am humble because I am in civilization. I live within a community. And so that's where the word humility and humble come from. The words humble and mercy comes for oneself. Because like I try to tell people, you're the one that does anything, the person that is beholding anything. And so in your kingdom, you have to have mercy and grace and guidance, because some people like to act like oppressors sometimes, and some people are kind. But at some points, you can't just always be super nice all the time. Sometimes you have to put your foot down and stand up for yourself. You don't have to be mean when you do that. If you're the type of person that doesn't even like confrontation, you could be sweet and nice and loving about it. Hey, I'm not into that kind of thing. Hey, I don't like this and that. Hey, this isn't for me. I know some people utterly hate religion because they were abused by it. Me personally, I respect each person's beliefs and thought process, and I may joke about certain things, but at the end of the day, I respect that person because I respect people, not books. I respect humans, not buildings and temples. But I know humans sometimes need shelter in houses like temples, if that makes sense. And so that's why I respect public aid. I respect repairing nations. I respect stopping war, because you have to decipher for yourself. Like, because for what a lot of people do in this country, they believe in Christianity, which is mercy and forgiveness and grace. But then when I see certain leaders on the camera talk, all their chat all the time, I'd be like, dictator, murderer, blah, blah, blah. But the person that's talking, like Putin, I'll listen to him talk. And he's saying, I want a resolution. I want peace. I don't want this to happen. I want the Nazis in Ukraine to be dealt with. What do the people in the chat do? Oh, you're a fucking dictator. You're mean. You're evil. I'll hear different people saying he's talking logically. Okay, that makes sense. But basically, the community is being programmed by different media outlets, and that's why I teach each individual, stand behind your stone, build your kingdom, your Jerusalem, because we've had a long time for people to build other people's kingdoms, and you see what's manifested out of that. A lot of people are turning out to be racist. Racism and Nazism is the same thing. It's the belief that your race is the master race. Now, there's nothing wrong with having pride in your culture and who you are, but when you start to think that you're the only human on the planet and you're above everybody else and people deserve what they get, then that's kind of a sick way to think on the inside if you think about it. And that can manifest in different ways in the outside world and can cause harm to other people if we're not careful. Even petty little comments we see on different videos and stuff. We don't know who's all reading that stuff, and that could affect different people. And that's what causes people to crash out a lot of times. I'm seeing different influencers talk about how they get accosted and stuff because, like, first of all, outside of them entertaining us, a lot of you guys take it way too far. Like, we can leave comments in their stuff. We don't have to, like, now if somebody's causing harm and being racist and stuff like that, yeah, it's good to learn who that person is so they can stop harming the community. But when it comes to different stuff, you guys are accosting people over. It's like, chill out. You guys are being extremists, and that's why I try to tell y'all America isn't as democratic as you think. You can say something in a free country, and the people that are programmed by the tube will then talk to you crazy. So that's why I tell people to be careful, understand who you are, understand the type of spirits that you take on. When I say, okay, think of it like this. Now it's the middle of winter, and a person has Christmas decorations all around their house, right? They have Christmas decorations, a Christmas tree, Christmas lights, they have gifts, they have hot cocoa in the house, a fireplace, there's snow all over the place. You get the Christmas spirit. That's basically all it is, really. And then what you do, each individual, how deep your imagination goes, or however much you like to daydream, how much of how much of a spirit you have, so to speak. And so let's even say now, Halloween. If I say the word Halloween, now in your mind, I don't know what your experience is like. And so you might think of this, you might think of the movie Halloween, Michael Myers, you might think of trick or treating, or you might think of like Halloween decorations and all this other stuff. That's how the word and spirit works. I say a word, or I give words, how, and then people receive them, and they receive different ideas, thoughts, feelings. And I'll give you another example of word and spirit. Remember, different people were talking about voter collusion and saying that the voting system was rigged. Now, when they were given a big enough platform and following to say that, look how it affected all these American people, and they started running around talking about fake news, false news, fake voting. And then Dominion had to sue Fox over that. Now, you see how powerful the word and spirit can be? I'm telling you guys, a lot of times people, whatever type of kingdom people are going to build, okay. That's why I don't call people crazy. I just simply try to understand where they're coming from. But what I try to explain to people is sometimes our words can set off a fiery movement, and it can harm other people if we're not careful. That's why I tell people I can read certain prophets, but I try to edify to the best of my ability. Because sometimes people can read stuff talking about slaying entire nations, and then they'll go and try to fulfill it because they're unaware or using it to manipulate people. And so, that's why I try to tell people to be free and stand behind the stone, the Ten Commandments, and the loving spirit that teaches us to, like, because there's different words in that book that say, not everything is slay this and that. There's words talking about give to the orphans, give to the poor, give to the widow, give to yourself, be a king, build the temple of, be a loving person, don't murder, don't steal, don't covet. And so that's the type of spirit I'm trying to build up, the type of spirit where people can love each other and we can accept each other and be happy with who we are. And so, life is like a roller coaster, and a roller coaster can either be a fun, exciting experience, or It can scare the living shit out of people. A lot of people are stronger than other people. That's why it's even written in different prophet, like the judges when they were dealing with their wars. This is not talking about literal physical war. I'm talking about using the word and spirit to battle darkness, so to speak. But when they go and Gideon was telling different people, if you're terrified or if they was drinking the wrong way, go home and different stuff like that, because some people aren't built for this kind of stuff. Some people can't handle certain things. And so that's why I simply just try to teach people, and then you can be like a young Padawan or a young Jedi, so to speak. And so what you can do is, search your feelings, meditate within yourself, learn yourself, understand what's good for you, understand what's right for you, understand what's good for who I am, what's right for me. And I'm not teaching people to go get divorced and do all this other stuff, but if somebody's toxic, you got to do what you got to do. You got to be free from that situation. And when I say toxic, don't just use my words to y'all are the ones that are signing these contracts. I'm teaching people that, you know what I mean, to live your life and be happy with who you are. But if somebody's beating on people and acting a nut and cheating on people and being super toxic and violent, don't stick with that. That's ridiculous. But I'm not your gods. I'm not your king. Like I told you all, I'm the king of my world. I'm the god of my world. And when it's dealing with you guys, do what you need to do to survive. You know what I mean? So I can't be there with you at all times, only through the spirit. But even still, you have to make your own decisions. You know what I mean? And life can be a lot less RNG when we grab a hold of the lasso or the word and start manifesting righteousness and manipulating darknesses. And so when I say, like, even if you think about it, everybody's got a dark side, so to speak, or everybody's got a side that even nobody can see. And so what I teach people is to be strong in your foundation, strong in your world, and don't just believe that you're some just delusional, bipolar, all that other foolishness. No, you are strong, you are amazing. Be of good courage and be strong, and live your life and be happy, and don't let people tear you down so much, and don't let people tear you off. You know what I mean? So, you know, and I am welcome people to ask me anything they want to and ask me questions and learn new things. Because what I like to do is give a lot of metaphors and help people understand from a different perspective, from a different type of understanding. Because a lot of times when we share with each other, what we do is we use keys of language to unlock new doors, and then we can unlock new worlds as a metaphor, like an AI writing a new script, so to speak. And so, I've been learning a lot throughout my years, and I've been understanding the world for what it is, and I've been learning what I am capable of and learning what's right for me. A lot of different times now, even in my older age, I'll wake up and say, I am going to have a beautiful day. I am going to have a beautiful life. I'm going to be thankful and happy today. I'm going to be protected today. The creation cannot harm who I am, and I am going to be protected by the creation throughout the day. And I just say different things. I am going to be a blessing. I am going to heal others. Others are going to help heal me. Others are going to be kind to me. I am going to be kinder to others. And those are the type of prayers, you know what I mean? And different things. Because, of course, we're going to have wants and needs and things that we are asking for. But it doesn't have to be so violently like, oh, I need this, or I have to win this, or have to have that. No. You know what I mean? That's when it becomes like egotistical and impatient. Because in a world, imagine if, think of it like the brain, right? The brain is up there doing all this different stuff. Now think of like a program or an algorithm or something, an initial program, and it's doing all this stuff for the total system. And then sometimes the brain or sometimes the brain of the programming is being conflicted with the new source programming from the algorithm or the new body. So like imagine me in my mind. Now I'm going to get into the matrix, but then I'm going to get into the real world and then the matrix. When I say the matrix, I'm just talking about different things when dealing with my heart. So let's say me personally, I know if I eat cheeseburgers, fatty foods, destructive foods all day, all the time, I will begin to gain a lot of weight. Now it'll be subtle at first, but over time I'll get comfortable with that. I'll just be like, oh, that's what I'm used to, and it has to be delicate, delightful foods. Then I won't be able to stomach other foods that I don't like. I'll become more like I don't want to say privileged, but spoiled, so to speak, in terms of living. I be eating to live instead of living to, or I be living to eat instead of eating to live. But then I know that sometimes if you fast too much or if you don't have enough energy and stuff like that, there's food boosts. Like I am kind of thin, I am more thin. So every once in a while, I'll indulge, eat a double bacon cheeseburger with some cheesy fries, or eat a super foot long or something like that. You know what I mean? When dealing with Subway or something like that, or a sandwich shop, or maybe a greasy burrito. And that's why I teach people there's a balance. You know what I mean? Yes, you can do what's right a bunch, but if you're just constantly being miserable all your life, did you live? And that's the philosophy I live by sometimes. Even people don't really ask me this too much, but when they do, people are like, how do you feel about marriage? And first of all, I am who I am, and those are man's laws and stuff like that. And so, me personally, as long as I am like not cheating on who I am with and being friendly and respectful, what they have called consent and all this other stuff, as long as you're doing what's right. Because me personally, let's say a man had money and all this other stuff, or even a woman. I'll use a woman for example. No, I'm gonna use a man and a woman. A man has all this money and he's well off, and he has some female friends, and they're cool, and they all just know each other and they're cool. Whatever they're doing as adults should not affect other people, just like the LGBTQ community. If a man has other men that he's into, or a woman has other women that they're into, that should not affect other people and how they feel, right? So then they talk about overpopulation and immigration and blah blah blah, but then have a problem with gay people and when people are dealing with trouble with abortions and stuff. It's like it doesn't make sense. They're just complaining. So then what I basically tell people is that's why you want to live your life and be happy with what you're doing. So some people, me personally, I got a girlfriend, you know what I mean, and we kind of got this verbal thing that is only with me and her. So that's cool, you know what I'm saying. I respect that. This is what's going on in my life, and that's me and her are happy. So, but whatever other people got going on, I just tell people to be respectful. Don't cause harm. Be truthful at the beginning. Keep it 100. And even if you do slip, that's what I meant to say earlier. People in this country all the time talk about Christian, and the Lord, whatever forgives, and blah, 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 mercy. But then when other dealing with other countries and other people and other races, they're like, oh, never forgiven, and they're evil, and Muhammad, and not. First of all, Muhammad, they keep talking about his 9-year-old wife that was sanctioned to be married once she became grown. But these people don't understand certain things. Well, anyways, the point is, I think one of these books, like the Talmud or the Gemara or something, says the age of 12 is consent, a 3-year difference. And so that's why it says a bunch of arguing and stupidity. And then in the Christian Bible, I'm not even finna get into that, because what these English kings and these English monarchs have been doing throughout history to enslave the Middle East and Africa is ridiculous. And the people that were in the Middle East were doing it too in the ancient days. And so that's why I tell people, connect back with the source, Africa, the ancestors, and connect back with loving one another and respecting the temples, us, who we are, and being happy and being democratic this election, because the first start. Because when I hear people saying, oh, I'm not going to vote for the entire system and da-da-da, like I said, you let snakes slither in, and that's why all these Nazis are everywhere. We have to be aware. We have to pay attention. You don't think they wasn't voting for prophets and kings back then and stuff and being political? And it's up to the people to do what's right and fix the world, because we are the world, so to speak. Without us, well, it just wouldn't be nothing. Just be other random stuff. So stay beautiful, stay loving. I hope you all can stay wonderful. I'm probably gonna give it a little bit more time, smoke one more cigarette. It looks like I got about 5 or 6 likes. If anybody got any questions they want to ask me, if anybody got anything they want to know about a kingdom, the kingdom, different kingdoms, what they believe in, what you guys want to know and learn, and I just basically want to interact. You know what I mean? People, because sometimes when people find out who I am, they get kind of nervous, and I tell people all the time, you know what I'm saying? My name is Juannie Jr. I heard Israel's been looking for me. They keep talking about Mashiach. Here I am. And I've told y'all in a million different videos how I feel. I've showed y'all the covenants and what's going on with different language in these books, and how to truly find the kingdom of the heart, and how to truly find the kingdom, and all this other stuff. So if anybody will get to know me, like I said, just ask questions, and good edits. Thank you for all the wonderful comments, and everybody else too. I'm thankful for everybody that comes in. At first I said I don't even want to really spread out to the people, but I see what prophets and messengers could do sometime, especially in these religions. So I'm sorry I said that, and I'm here, and I'm ready to get millions and billions of followers. And when I say that, I'm not trying to be like, because I'm gonna tell you guys a little algorithm or a little parable. So you can think of me as like one of the most wise, slothiest. I don't want to say lazy because I've done some rigorous jobs in my life, but think of me as a very wise, understanding, kind of not lazy but tired man. I'm older now. I'm finna be 40 in 5 years. You know what I mean? I'm 35. But the point is, I am thankful to have this opportunity to talk to all you all and help you all with whatever you need help with and different stuff. But the problem is, I don't like the idea of people like swarming me. So I just try to teach people to the best of my ability to, you know what I mean, be patient with me and just, get to know me and understand me and learn the covenant of the Ten Commandments and learn Yahweh. I'm sorry, in English is JB. I get confused sometimes. In English, JB, Juannie, that's my name. It's basically just Yanez's name. They named it a bunch of different stuff, but his name was Yanez, and they call him John in English, I think. That was the man that was crucified, and here I am, Wani, and African American now. So, I'm just trying to spread the love to people. I'm telling Israel to please stop attacking the people. Uh, Here I am, and I love y'all. And please, not what y'all have been doing. Like, I don't have a problem with the Judaism community. As I told y'all, everybody is my people. I'm here to bring everybody together. But what I'm trying to tell y'all is what y'all have been doing with the reports that have been coming out of Israel is kind of dark. And I know everybody's got to defend themselves. So, like I said, let's all come together. We all got to pass. Let's rebuild and make the world amazing. And let's learn to come together and grow. Because why would who I am want the world to destroy each other? We're all family. We're all humanity. We're all love. You know what I mean? We're all beautiful. We come together and make the body of life. And so I just want y'all to understand that. And I'm here and ready for you all to see the light. You know what I mean? And so whenever y'all are ready to stop, playing around in idolatry and whatnot, y'all can get the truth and come meet me and understand and learn and grow. I'll probably post more about the prophets and whatnot in the near future. Um, I got a few more prophets to read. I think I've already done Micah, Amos, Job. I've done Micah, Amos, Job, Jonah. Uh, I think some of Zechariah, uh, and a few others. I can't remember all the different ones that I've read, but I've read of a few of the prophets. And, I'm just here to educate people and free people from the chains of darkness so that we can all come together and teach people to love and grow and not be Nazis and follow after these Germanic Nazi ways. Israel, I'm warning you, Israel and America and Ukraine with the Nazi behavior, with the us versus them division bullshit, it will be stopped. Um, all the law, love who I am with all your heart and soul, and love your neighbors the same, love others the same, and continue to be kind and gracious. So, and another thing, that name Jesus is irritating me. I told y'all that means I'm a gracious pig. It's Wani. I am Wani. And, you know, if you really think about it, it's really like the book of Joshua. Because even if y'all call him Yohanan, it's what? Joshua, so Yo Shua. And then if you call him Yeshua, it's Yehohanan or Yehanan with the Yeshua. Not Yahoo, not Yahuwah, but it is what it is. The man that was crucified is Yanez Yehohanan in Latin, and I am Wani Jr., and I'm thankful that you all have came to see me. Stay blessed.